So let's get this straight. A Representative Al Green shows up at the State of the Union. He wants to protest. He does that. He outbursts. He stops the address. Al Green gets what he wants. He gets thrown out. Later, he wants to claim he got thrown out and then censored because racism. Is that the play? Is that what we're going to go with? Okay. Look, guys, I'm going to break this down for you because I'm tired of the nonsense. The reality is there's more to this than just Representative Al Green is black. There's more to it than that. So let's get into it right here on the Tim Black Show. First thing I want to do is I want to take a look at exactly what happened because they're comparing Representative Green to Representative Boebert and Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. Let's take a look at those. Let's compare what they did and how what Green did was way more disruptive. All right, so let's do this right. Let's put a counter up on the board because we want to time this. Now, we're going back in time to 2022. We're going to watch Lauren Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene act a fool in the stands. Here we go. 2022 Biden State of the Union address.
These burn pits that incinerate waste, the waste of war, medical and hazardous material, jet fuel, and so much more. And they come home, many of the world's fittest and best trained warriors in the world. Never the same. Headaches, numbness, dizziness. A cancer that would put them in a flag-draped coffin. I know. One of those soldiers was my son, Major Bo Biden. I don't know for sure if the burn pit that he lived near, that his hooch was near in Iraq and earlier than that in Kosovo, is the cause of his brain cancer, the disease of so many other troops. But I am committed to find out everything we can.
What happened? They were in the audience acting like a damn fool. That's what they were doing. They were making noise. But did you notice Biden kept going? Yeah, it's a little bit different. Okay, a little bit different. Now, let's go to Biden, the next State of the Union. I think this one is 2023. This time, it's going to be, I think it's Marjorie Taylor Greene, this time making noise.
I'm told my predecessor called members of Congress in the Senate to demand they block the bill. He feels a political win. He viewed it as would be a political win for me and a political loser for him. It's not about him. It's not about me. I'd be a winner. Not really.
So she shouted out Laken Riley. Okay, talk about Laken Riley. And what is Biden going to do? He's going to respond.
Lincoln Riley, an innocent young woman who was killed by an illegal. That's right. But how many of the thousands of people being killed by illegals? To her parents, I say, my heart goes out to you, having lost children myself. I understand. But look, if we change the dynamic at the border, people pay these smugglers $8,000 to get across the border because they know if they get by and let into the country, it's 6 to 8 years before they have a hearing. And it's worth taking the chance of the $8,000. But if it's only 6 weeks, the idea is it's highly unlikely that people will pay that money and come all that way, knowing that they'll be able to be kicked out quickly. Folks,
well, Biden's talking over the noise.
I would respectfully suggest my Republican friends owe it to the American people, get this bill done. We need to act now.
It is.
And if my predecessor is watching, instead of paying politics and pressuring members of Congress to block the bill, join me.
Okay, so that's it. He went on with his speech. He wasn't really interrupted where things just came to a screeching halt. Here goes the clip of what happened when Trump was giving his speech and he was interrupted by Representative Greene.
We won the popular vote by big numbers and won counties in our country. And won counties in our country, 2,700 to 525, on a map that reads almost completely red for Republican. Now, for the first time in modern history, more Americans believe that our country is headed in the right direction than the wrong direction.
So Trump was going to talk over it too. He's talking over it. He keeps going through it. But Green is also continuing to keep it going, okay?
In fact, it's an astonishing record, 27-point swing, the most ever. Likewise, small business optimism saw its single largest one-month gain ever recorded, a 41-point jump.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House and to cease any further disruptions.
Okay, so he's telling them, hey, they stopped it a couple times. They're pointing. People are yelling at him to stop, yelling at him to be quiet. And now Johnson's like, look, keep the decorum. Okay, so that's the thing, right? So they did that. Keep it going.
That's your warning. Members are engaging in willful and continuing breach of decorum, and the chair is prepared to direct the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order to the joint session.
So he said it, then he warned them, then he again a second time, he says, look, we're going to pull the Sergeant-at-Arms out. That's what we're going to do. We'll pull out the Sergeant-at-Arms. But they're not removing him yet. He's just putting out the Sergeant-at-Arms to keep shit cool. Now what happens?
Mr. Green, take your seat. Take your seat, sir. Take your seat. Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber.
He said, take his seat. He won't take his seat. He won't chill. I feel like Representative Green did this all on purpose. He wants to protest. He's protesting against Trump. It's intentional, right? It seems like this is not an accident. This is not people getting it wrong. This is not, ooh, let's get this black guy and throw him out. In fact, I don't even think Johnson wanted to throw him out. Why would he want to get the Democrats a news cycle? He know they're going to play racist. He's going to say, oh, it's because he's black. That's the last thing you want to do. But the guy would not stop. He's still going. He is still making a scene. He's still doing it. Look at the Democrats. They're sitting right there. You saw Jasmine Crockett sitting right there. Where's all the appalled faces? No one looks appalled. No one looks like, oh my God, what are they doing? Hey, what you doing to my guy? It's like this guy basically wanted to leave. Okay, that's my point. I think it's pathetic that the Democrats got to go to these levels in order to try to get black people riled up and try to play race for any little issue. Okay, you're getting your butt kicked. I get it. It's not nice to get your butt kicked. Trump's been kicking their butts, but that don't mean you get to use us as camouflage for your failed policies, for your unpopularity, and for losing to Trump. Because that's what they're doing. To make matters worse, not only do I think this was all planned, that Green had an agenda when he came in, that he was going to get tossed out. After he gets tossed out, listen to what he says in the hallway.
Standing there, you're yelling at the president. What were you saying to him?
I was telling him that he does not have a mandate to cut Medicaid.
And the speaker told you to sit down, and you refused to sit down, and that's why they kicked you out.
That is correct. And by the way,
hey, I refuse to sit down. That's why they kicked me out. Okay? So it's no, he didn't say, hey, this is racist. What they did to me, it did because I'm a black man. He said they kicked me out because I refused to sit down. Didn't he just say that? There's always going to be a bunch of people trying to defend this guy for no damn reason.
The speaker told you to sit down, and you refused to sit down, and that's why they kicked you out.
that is correct. And by the way, if there's a punishment, I will accept a punishment. This is not about me.
He said, if there's a punishment, I will accept the punishment. Okay, that's what he said. That's the night of the event. 2 days later, his ass is on the Breakfast Club, and he says this. So, of course, he got to go to Breakfast Club, and he got to tell everybody how he know what racism is. This is another racist act. Look what they did to me. They're discriminating against me. Listen to him.
And I know what it sounds like. I've been called green rooms, and I've been in places where I didn't want to be, and I know what it sounds like. I've been called all kinds of ugly names. So I know invidious discrimination. And when the speaker decided that I would be removed, and then there was this motion, this resolution to censure me, it became obvious to me that I was not being treated as others were. Mm-hmm. And candidly speaking, it is invidious discrimination, harmful discrimination.
So now it's discrimination. After the guy already said, hey, I know I did this. I'm protesting. I'm standing on business for my people in my district. In any disciplinary action that comes from this, any reprimand, whatever happens, I'm good with it. 2 days later, he's on the Breakfast Club going, oh, they discriminate, and I know what that's like when you get treated less than. Not only is that bogus, all the Democrats that come out to his defense, like this lady, whoever this is.
Going back to a 1950s America, I want to be very clear about that for those of us who have parents, who have aunts and uncles and communities that are still alive, who remembered what a Jim Crow America looks like. Tonight in the chamber, you could look easily to your right and you can see essentially a monolithic group of folks who look just like one another.
So now she's saying there shouldn't be white people there. Yeah, unfortunately, we got white people over there on the Republican side. Okay, then she goes on and she says this.
As a new member of Congress, I was shocked at what seemed like a blatant disrespect for the House. And it wasn't coming from Representative Green. It was coming from the men behind him on the right side who were telling him and yelling, sit down. I mean, it felt like I was watching something in a history class.
People telling you to sit down as you yell at the president. What? I don't get it. Like, what are they supposed to say? Keep going?
Of racist yelling at an elderly black man challenging the president of the United States not to cut medical care for.
He's not cutting medical care. He's cutting the budget of the NIH. He's not cutting Medicaid. How much is he cutting Medicaid by? How much is he cutting Medicare back by? How much is he cutting Social Security by? You can't tell me the number because he hasn't cut any of those things. You're just assuming he's going to cut it because the budget calls to cut federal programs by $2 trillion over 10 years. So the Democrats are bogus. They're bogus. They're not standing on anything. They have no leg to stand on. And they'll do anything for a news cycle. Anything to try to throw a monkey wrench into what Trump is doing. See, Donald Trump right now, He's cooking with all his burners lit. He's in the kitchen and he's got all the burners turned all the way up on max. The Democrats, they sitting over there with a heating pad. One cylinder heating pad. And they can't cook nothing. They can't even boil an egg. You understand what I'm saying? So that's where they are. So all they can do now is act aggrieved, act attacked. And how do they do that? They do it by wrapping themselves in blackness and using black people's struggles, using race to say, hey, we being discriminated against.
And that Representative Al Green be censured with public reading of this resolution by the Speaker.
Willie Johnson, they got to sing We Shall Overcome. What are they overcoming? You know, they're overcoming their cushy jobs where they get basically nothing done. And one of them got kicked out, and now they got censored. He got censored because he wouldn't shut up. He wanted to get kicked out. He got kicked out, and now he's getting censored because it all looks staged. It all looks coordinated. You got a bunch of people wearing all these hats, wearing all these shirts, holding up signs like they're begging for food, like they're panhandling. You know, thought these were Congress people. What they doing panhandling? They're panhandling at the Capitol. It don't make sense. And of course, we got Jasmine Crockett. She got to get in on the act.
People lose context for who Al Green is. Al Green is an older black man who is steeped in the civil rights movement, right? And
who loses context that he's an older black man? He's black and he is old. We see that. No one's lost context of that. We see it.
So, you know, we are coming up on the 60th anniversary of Bloody Sunday. They are going to commemorate that at the Edmund Pettus Bridge.
Man, what's that got to do with Al Green not sitting his ass down? What's that got to do with the performative protest nonsense that's going on, man? Well, I don't understand the difference. Look, if you say, hey, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to make them throw me out, then they throw you out, you should not complain later that you got thrown out. You went in there to get thrown out. He went in there, he showed his ass to get thrown out.
So for somebody who grew up and saw people be bloodied and bludgeoned, knowing that that's what moved the needle forward, there were a lot of people that were putting dogs on them.
Man, what does that have to do? Wasn't no dogs in at the State of the Union address. When no dogs, when no water hoses, when nobody getting pistol whipped, none of that was happening. Nah. Green saw an opportunity to jump in front of some cameras, get a little bit of screen time, to stunt, okay? To pull a stunt. And that's what he did. And now, y'all been talking about it for 2 days. And when I look at the film, it doesn't even look like the Speaker of the House even wanted to pull him out. Because he had to know ejecting this guy out of here is going to give them a news cycle, and they're going to play victim. Of course, you can't expect honesty or truth to come out of Jasmine Crockett. She ain't going to do that. She's going to play Democratic Party ball. I keep telling people, these Democratic representatives aren't black or white. They are blue. Okay? They are blue. Just like the cops. They bleed blue. Jasmine Crockett bleeds blue, not black. Not red. Blue. I would say green for money, but you get my point. Some people say, Tim Black, what about the fact that Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert, they were allowed to show their ass, they did not get thrown out. Okay, they didn't get thrown out. I don't think that Biden wanted them to get thrown out. It did look like Nancy was calling. She didn't bang the gavel. What did Nancy Pelosi do? She sat there as Marjorie Taylor Greene and Boebert got their words off. Okay, so if you want to say it was racism, I don't know. But who's the racist? Maybe it sounds like Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden got a soft spot for those white Republicans because they didn't seem to be that bothered by it. They seemed to be cool with it. They made a couple of faces and they kept it moving. Did they censor Green because he's black? I don't think that's what it was, but I'm not going to say racism color plays no part in anything. I'm not going to say that. I'm never going to say race doesn't play a part in things, because it could. Okay? But here's the thing. Democrats voted to have him censored as well. It wasn't just Republicans. So maybe if you're going to say racism got him thrown out, maybe there's some racists in the Democratic Party who voted for it. Yeah. So if you're a Democrat and you're saying they threw out Green because of race, and then you want to say he was censored because he's black, you also got to throw your own party into the mix and blame them as well. And if you're willing to do that, if you're willing to say, hey, looks like we got some good old boys in the Democratic Party, I support you calling that out. So if the Democrats want to say it was racism that got Representative Al Green censored, I'm cool with it, as long as they're willing to admit some of those racists are Democrats. Let me know what you think in the comments section, y'all. Only in America. Only in America.